All right, let's dive into a technology that feels like it's been pulled straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster, but it's happening right now. We're talking about something that isn't just an incremental upgrade. It's a complete reimagining of what air power even means. We are talking about drone swarms. I mean, think about it for a second. A single drone, that's one target. Our entire air defense playbook is designed to handle that. But this one question changes everything. What do you do when the threat isn't just one predictable object, but 1,000 intelligent attackers, all moving and thinking together like a single entity? And what you're seeing here isn't a movie still. This is the core concept, a massive, overwhelming force designed to simply flood any defense. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how these swarms work, why they're so terrifyingly effective, and what it all means for the future of conflict. To really get why swarms are such a game changer, we first have to look at the battlefield as it exists today. Because right now, there's a huge problem, a kind of unbalanced economic equation that modern militaries are really struggling with. And drone swarms are perfectly built to exploit it. For decades, the philosophy was pretty simple. Build bigger, faster, more powerful, and stealthier platforms. Amazing fighter jets, high-tech bombers. These things are absolute marvels of engineering. But they have a huge catch. They are eye-wateringly expensive, you can't build very many of them, and each one is a single, juicy, high-value target. Let this number sink in. $450,000. That's roughly the cost to fire just one advanced air defense missile, something like an IRIS-T, for one shot. Just keep that number in your head. Now, here's the other side of that equation, $20,000. That's the estimated price tag for one of those Shahed 136 attack drones we hear so much about. You don't need a PhD in economics to see the massive problem here. The math just doesn't add up for the person trying to defend. And this chart really lays out the heart of the issue. You're being forced to use a multi-million-dollar defense system with a finite number of missiles to shoot down something that costs less than a new car and can be churned out in a factory. It's a battle of attrition that in the long run, the defenders simply cannot win. And this is where the swarm flips the entire script. See, it's not just about chucking a bunch of cheap drones at a target. A true swarm is something way more sophisticated, way more intelligent. It's a totally different way of thinking, and it's inspired by something we see every day, nature. We've all seen it, right? A flock of birds that turns on a dime in perfect unison, or a school of fish that moves like one single shimmering organism. There's no leader bird or general fish giving orders. Instead, you have this really complex, intelligent group behavior that just emerges from individuals all following a few very simple rules. That right there is swarm intelligence. And this is the critical distinction. Think of those amazing drone light shows. Every single one of those drones is just following a path that was pre-programmed by one central computer. It's a puppet show. In a real swarm, there is no puppet master. Each drone is autonomous. It's sensing its own environment and talking to its neighbors to make its own decisions, right there in real time. And what's wild is that this incredibly complex group behavior can come from incredibly simple rules. The original idea was modeled in a famous computer simulation called Boids, and basically, each drone just follows 3 simple instructions. Don't bump into your neighbors, try to go in the same general direction as them, and try to stick close to the group. That's it. From those simple little rules, this complex, coordinated group intelligence just appears. And now, of course, modern systems are taking these ideas and supercharging them with AI. This image right here perfectly shows the difference. On the left, you have a centralized system. You take out that leader in the middle, and the whole thing falls apart. But on the right, that's a true swarm. Each drone is a node, tucking directly to the drones around it. There is no leader. And because there's no leader, there's no single point of failure. And that's what makes a swarm so unbelievably resilient. Okay, so we've got the theory down. How does all this translate into actual capabilities on the battlefield? Well, this isn't just a concept anymore. Swarms are being designed for a massive range of missions, turning them into a flexible, powerful new kind of weapon. This chart is a great way to think about it, not as a single tool, but as a whole toolbox. We're not just talking about kamikaze attacks. You could have a swarm dedicated to surveillance, using its numbers to create this constant, unblinking eye in the sky over a huge area. Or you could have an electronic warfare swarm, whose only job is to fly around and jam enemy radar and communications. The possibilities are huge. The applications are just incredibly diverse. A lot of them are focused on jobs that are, too dull, too dirty, or way too dangerous for human pilots. Imagine a search and rescue swarm that can fan out and cover a disaster zone in minutes, way faster than any human team ever could. Or picture a communication swarm that can set up an instant, self-healing network over mountains, connecting soldiers anywhere. So let's flip the script for a second. What if you're on the receiving end of one of these attacks? What do you even do? The truth is, this technology creates a problem that current defense systems were just never, ever designed to solve. It takes their greatest strengths and turns them into weaknesses. This quote from a military analyst, it really just hits the nail on the head. It's blunt, but it captures the scale of the threat. The old way of thinking, one big expensive missile to stop one big expensive plane, is completely broken by the logic of the swarm. So what makes them so tough to stop? First, it's just pure saturation. The best radar system in the world can only track and engage so many targets at once. A swarm can throw hundreds, maybe thousands of targets at it, completely overwhelming the system. Second, redundancy. A swarm is built to take losses. You can shoot down 10, 20, even 50% of the drones. The rest will just readjust and keep coming. And like we said, there's no leader to take out, and the cost exchange is an absolute nightmare. Just look at this mismatch. On one side, you've got a Patriot missile system. It's a brilliant piece of engineering, but it was designed to shoot down a couple of high-performance jets or maybe a ballistic missile. It was never, ever imagined to fight off a tidal wave of hundreds of small, smart, cooperating drones. It's like bringing a sniper rifle to a fight against an entire ant colony. It's the wrong tool for a totally new job. So where is all of this going? The rise of swarm technology, it isn't just about new weapons. It's forcing us to ask some really profound questions about strategy, about ethics, and about the fundamental nature of war itself. And this might be one of the biggest challenges of all. A human operator might launch a swarm and give it a general mission, but the swarm itself could make thousands of its own tactical decisions on the battlefield. So if or when a swarm makes a mistake, who's held accountable? Is it the operator, the person who wrote the code, the manufacturer? International law is racing to catch up, and frankly, it's not clear what the answers are. When you add it all up, this technology really is a seismic shift. It's not just another weapon in the arsenal, it's a whole new logic for how you fight. It values mass and numbers over high-tech sophistication, and it values a distributed, resilient network over a single, powerful platform. And that shift could allow smaller countries, or maybe even non-state groups, to challenge military superpowers in ways we could have never imagined before. And that leaves us with a really powerful, and maybe a little unsettling, final thought. For all of human history, warfare has been defined by people on the battlefield. But we are right now on the cusp of an era where entire conflicts could be decided by the clash of autonomous, intelligent collectives, a future that might not be fought by soldiers.